Namathu Ratana Tayassa. May I pay homage to Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello, good evening, everyone. So today is Monday, the 22nd of February, 2021. This is Ajahn Sujan from Varapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. Hello Margaret, hello Pakong Si, and hello everyone. So as usual, we are here. I'm here with you, and share some of the insights and the discussions. And before going into reading the discourse and the discussion, I would like to share some of experiences that I have received today. As some of you already know that since morning I've been teaching, and this afternoon I had a discussion, or not a discussion, a friendly conversation with one of my friends. And he asked me, saying that, "You always say that you're busy teaching. And I say, "So?" And then he asked me, "How many hours a week do you teach?" And then I said, "Oh, that's very difficult, but in roughly 3 hours a day. And in normal 3 hours a day, except special days there." And then he said, "Oh, Achan, you will be rich. You will be rich if you charge them." I said, "No, we can't charge. We can't charge any classes, so it's supposed to be free." And I say, "Oh, Achan, in that case, you become, you give up monkhood and become a mindful coach. You will be rich, Achan." So he was suggesting me to give up being a monk and go and teach meditation, so that we'll get a good income and we'll be rich. Now it's like a 1 million question. So, and then say, "You have a good understanding, but I'm afraid I am not ready to go." So that is the interesting invitation to be a normal in household life and teaching as a mindful coach and earning money. And that is what's happening in general, but I said, no, as a monk is much better. How much? That's the main question. How much am I going to charge, Margaret? Because I don't know the market price. And again, if I give up being a monk and become a mindful coach, may not be able to deliver like this way, what I am doing now. So this is interesting. It's like a new age of teaching meditation. But anyway, so that's just for fun, okay? And I haven't got any intention whatsoever to change my clothes from this big blanket to a normal clothes. Probably if I'm wearing a jeans, I'm not sure how many days would it take to become familiar. 20 baht per hour. 20 baht. Oh, I cannot buy even one hot chocolate. 20 baht. Okay. So anyway, so it's just for the fun. Okay. I hope it won't be like that. So that's the interesting discussion, and actually quite interesting. And if I am looking towards the funds or the money, then there's another story. All right, okay. Bear in mind, I haven't accepted that invitation. And meanwhile, I am not charging any, unless anyone wants to give a donation. That's all. Okay. And again, all donation, you don't have to give it to me. I give it to the center, okay, which is not belongs to me, but to all. All right. Right. Okay. But again, center always runs through the donations from all the members, whoever has got an intention to help and support the center, so that we can carry on, monks can stay and carry on this noble work. Okay, right. So this discourse is known as a Siri Wadda, and this discourse again continues from the previous discourses on the basis of the satipatthana, the four establishment of a mindfulness. And here, for establishment of a mindfulness, we have been doing it again and again. So again, I will ask you all to write it down. What are the four establishment of a mindfulness? So you can type on a comment as I read the discourse and go through with it. Make sure it's in a sequences, yeah, and all the four establishment of a mindfulness. If possible, write it in Pali language as well. All right. So the story goes in this way. And on one occasion, the Venerable Ananda was dwelling at Rajagaha in the bamboo grove, the squirrel's sanctuary. Now, on that occasion, the householder Siriwadda was sick, afflicted, gravely ill. Then the householder Siriwadda addressed a man thus. Now, Venerable Ananda, as we know that he was the attendant of the Buddha, who stayed with the Buddha as like a shadow for 25 years, and as a result he had heard almost all the teachings of the Buddha, and he was the one who recited after the Buddha passed away. And on the basis of his recitation, the 499 monks confirmed what he recited or what he said was the truth. And that's how we got this all the Buddha's teachings recorded as a scripture, which is mostly based on what he said. And was dwelling at a Rajagaha in the bamboo grove. And this is again Rajagaha, again and again. Yesterday also we talked about the Rajagaha. Day before also talked about the Rajagaha. Rajagaha was the place where the Buddha had lived in his initial days, and the place where King Bimbisara, who was the father of Ajatasattu, who killed King Bimbisara. And in this case, when the King Bimbisara became very devoted to the Buddha, at that time King Bimbisara built this bamboo grove and offered this bamboo grove as the center for the Buddha, so that Buddha along with other venerable monks could stay and teach. And this is the place where the story begins. Now, on that occasion, the householder Siriwadda was sick, afflicted, gravely ill. And here, this householder Siriwadda was one of the... Oh, I'm so sorry, Emma. Yes, you missed the lovely joke. Yeah, right. So you can listen later. And this householder Siriwadda was a millionaire or businessman at that time. But in the meantime, he was in and out with the temple. So he was close to the Venerable Ananda along with other venerable monks. And it happened that the Siriwadda, the millionaire businessman, was sick and afflicted and gravely ill, so that he invited one of the householders and addressed thus, saying, "Come, good man, approach the Venerable Ananda, pay homage to him in my name with your head at his feet, and say, Venerable Sir, the householder Sirivada is sick, afflicted, gravely ill. He pays homage to the Venerable Ananda with his head at his feet, and then says, "It would be good, Venerable Sir, if the Venerable Ananda would come to the resident of the householder Sirivada out of compassion." Oh, right. And Margaret is going to tell. That's good. Right, so it had happened that this householder, Sirivada, got ill, and he invited a man to send messages to the Ananda, and with an instruction saying that pay respect to the Ananda, and said to him that it would be good if you come to the householder Sirivada's house with a compassion. And then this man goes to the Venerable Ananda and paid respect. Then this Venerable Ananda accepted with silence. And then in the morning, the Venerable Ananda, dressed and taking a bowl and a robe, went to the resident of the householder Sirivada. He then sat down in the appointed seat and said to the householder Sirivada, "I hope you are bearing up. Householder, I hope you are getting better. I hope your painful feelings are subsiding and not increasing, and that their subsiding, not their increase, is to be discerned." And when the Ananda said so, and then the householder said that, "I am not bearing up, Venerable Sir. I am not getting better." Sorry. "Strong painful feeling are increasing in me, not subsiding, and their increase, not their subsiding, is to be discerned." And here, it is a story that this Sirivada was sick and he wanted to see Venerable Ananda. It's like similar to here in Aberdeen. I visit so many people and so many members when they are in the hospital, and I will be asked personally and also through the other means, like from the chaplaincy, Aberdeen University chaplaincy, through as well as even the hospital chaplaincy. I am invited to visit the families and members who are sick. And sometimes, because I have known the family, I have known the members, and I don't have to go through the chaplaincies and go to see them. And it does happen that sometimes they are very ill, and I just go there and then just talk. I just give sometimes I joke with them and laugh with them, and like that. This happens, and it is not just for the Buddhists. I would say it is not just for the Buddhists that I am invited to visit them in the hospitals, but I also go visit to other members who I never met before. Like there was one student who was Muslim, and she was gravely ill and about to die, and then she wanted to see a Buddhist monk before her death. And again, I went there, and by the time when I was there, she was already unconscious. So, however, despite of that, I stood beside of her, and I just talked about different things, and then later on I asked her to practice meditation, and just learning to calm herself down and be happy what she had done. And I was informed that following day she passed away. And then similarly, there was another man who was from, I think, Iran. I was invited to visit as well, and he was a cancer patient, and he was still conscious. So we had a lovely discussion and wonderful to know. So it was really good, like that. But again, there are another story that sometimes, when particularly Buddhists, and if they are already quite aged, suppose like 70 up or 80 years old, and they are in the hospital and they are sick, and at that time, if they think, suppose their their relatives or children, father or grandpa, we will invite monks to talk to you, like that. And then it does happen sometimes that they think, the grandpa, normally grandpa or grandma or any seniors, they normally say that, are you thinking of sending me, or do you think that I am going to die? It's like we are, as a monk, playing two roles. One as a comforting, or pastoring and helping to helping the journey beyond. And in the meantime, some of them do also think that having seen the monk means my time is nearer to death. Like that. So it does happen. Okay? But again, there is one good story, was that one very old man, and he, before his health deteriorated, he bought a lottery ticket, right? So he bought a lottery ticket, and then suddenly he fall ill, and he had a heart attack. Sorry, he had a heart problem. I think I have told this story. He had a heart trouble, and then he was in ICU in the hospital, and somehow on that day, lottery result came. It's like a Euro million, Euro millionaire, and then there was jackpot. Now, this grandpa's family was very worried that if they tell that grandpa had won this Euro million, then he will be shocked and dead. So they didn't know what to do. So they went to the temple, Buddhist temple, and invited the abbot and said, "Oh, Venerable Sir, this is a very serious issue. Our grandpa has got this severe heart problem, and he's in the ICU. And then, and now the ticket that he bought, now he won the lottery, and we have a fear that if we tell him, then he will have a heart attack and will die. So, as you are a monk, could you go and talk to our grandpa?" And a monk is a monk, so and believe that, okay, that's fine, no problem. Oh, Yvonne saw a monk. Oh, just a monk or many monks? And I saw someone who was cycling too. Okay, so it happened that this monk went to the hospital. And then went to speak with this grandpa. And now the monk, calmly, with the collected, he talked to the grandpa, saying, "Grandpa, suppose, okay, this is just a suppose, in case you have won $2 million, €2 million, what would you do?" And this grandpa, without thinking any second thought, he said, "Oh, I will give you half." Can you imagine what happened now? So, immediately when the grandpa said to a monk that I will give you a half, monk shocked on the spot and then died, because he knew that grandpa had won the lottery. And now when grandpa said that you are going to have half of it, then he collapsed and died on the spot. So make sure, if you have won the lottery, and then if you want to tell me, then just tell me. Okay? Do not make stories. I also have a heart problem too. Okay, so that's the story. And similar story, this is happening here, that the householder Sirivaddha was ill, and then he was invited to visit, and Ananda asks him, saying that, "How are you? Are you able to bear?" And he said it's very difficult to bear. It's difficult to bear. So he is saying that I am not bearing up, I am not getting better, strong painful feelings are increasing in me, not subsiding and not increasing. And in their increases, not their subsiding, is to be discerned. Yeah? So, like that. And then Venerable Ananda said, well then, householder, you should train thus. I will dwell contemplating the body in the body, urgent, clearly comprehending, mindful, having removed covetousness and displeasure in regard to the world. And I will dwell contemplating feelings in the feelings, mind in the mind, phenomena in the phenomena, in such a way that you should train. Now here, basically, Ananda is suggesting Sirivaddha to practice meditation on the satipatthana. Yeah? And here, this is the tradition in Sri Lanka in particular, that almost every householders will have the book on a satipatthana, and everyone will be chanting it. And particularly if someone is ill, and then that moment this satipatthana will be chanted in front of the ill person, and also someone who passed away. So in that, suppose someone died, and at that place also, this satipatthana, the four establishment of a mindfulness discourse, will be chanted. And the reason behind the chanting is just to familiarize with it. And if a person had done any meditation before, in accordance with the four establishment of a mindfulness, then he automatically will go into the meditative state. When he go into the meditative state, what will happen is that his mind will be focused, and his mind will be in the wholesome state. He will be getting rid of all the unwholesome mindful states. He will be giving away the negative thoughts. When there is a letting go of a negative thoughts, and you have a pure mental state which is wholesome, then your next journey will be better. And this is another reason why, probably in the West as well, but mostly in Asia, whenever somebody is going to die, whether they are Buddhist or the Hindus, suppose they are Buddhists, in Thailand, they will be reminded in a last, it's called a near-death bed. At that time, the family members will be reminding, saying that, say Buddho. So it's bringing this mind, consciousness to the moment, and then reflecting on the practice of the Buddha. And similarly, in Hinduism, also called Narayan. So Narayana is one of the reincarnation of the Lord Vishnu, will be reminded. So that's how it's been, ways to purify before your death. Before your death. And according to the Buddha's teachings, we can see clearly that if we die with a clear mind, then our destination will be good. But if we die with a worried and a clouded mind, then our destination won't be good. So that is the reason behind why we are always reminded to practice meditation, and then getting rid of all the negativities and developing the positivities. And in this discourse, after Venerable Ananda instructed this millionaire businessman Sirivaddha practicing the four establishment of a mindfulness, he said that he just goes on and practice, reflect in that very moment, reflects, contemplating, and he said that these things exist in me, and I live in conformity with these things. So that means he already practiced it, and he understood it. With that understanding, he even further said that he had, it says, as to those 5 lower feathers taught by the Blessed One, I do not see any of these unabandoned in myself. And now, this unabandoned in myself, and here, I think we have to go tomorrow. This already 5 o'clock. Sorry, already 55 now. Okay, I think we will talk about this the 5 lower feathers tomorrow. Right? Oh, tomorrow we don't have, because tomorrow is Tuesday, and day after we will come and talk about the lower feathers that someone who has fully practiced in accordance with the 4 establishment of a mindfulness. That person, if you remember yesterday, I was talking that that person will gain up to the arhat, the noble one, and in the meantime, this Sirivada was able to attain the eradication or the abandoning the lower 5 feathers. Okay. Yes, Margaret, that is the body, feeling, mind, and a Dhamma is the 4 establishment of a mindfulness that I asked at the beginning of today's talk. And what are they? So, a person who is contemplating in the body, feeling, mind, and a Dhamma, then that will makes your life much, much better. Even if you are a sick, lying in your bed alone at that moment, this practice of a 4 establishment of a mindfulness becomes your good friend, and you will be spending time with very good qualities. And who knows, maybe you will be liberated before your death, while you are sitting in your lying in your bed and contemplating the whole body, feeling and watching your mind and understanding the reality as they are, then you may attain the liberation. So there are 10 feathers to understand, and a person here, the Siddhivada, attained the 5 first lower feathers, which we will talk on a day after. So we have to stop here, and then we'll discuss on this same Dhamma on coming days, not tomorrow, but day after tomorrow. So thank you everyone for your attention and interaction and listening to me, and may you all be well and happy. And remember, if you feel sick, if you feel unfit, practice of a 4 establishment of a mindfulness, that contemplating the body, feeling, mind, and the Dhamma. So in a few moments time, we're going to have evening chanting and guided meditation. You're most welcome to join with us. Until then, good night and see you shortly. May you all be blessed by the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Sadhu.